It begins with words like risk, commitment, evolution. These are concepts that mean something to me. Wait for no one, never stop learning, and don't waste the present remembering the past or trying to predict the future. These are rules I live by. There are no accomplishments, only natural progressions. And each time the road splits, follow the path that is healthiest for your soul. These are ideas that consume me. With each failure comes resurrection. With each triumph comes epiphany. And through every heartbreak, there lies measureless inspiration. We're taught that every story has 3 parts, but that all depends on how you look at it. For me, there is no middle and no ending, only countless new beginnings. Risk, commitment, evolution. Begin again. I guess you could say my music journey started when I was about 6 years old. I did a solo for about 50 people back on my island of St. Croix, where I'm from, and I was hooked from that moment. And stage became a place of self-discovery and a place that I was, fearless. In 1989, Hurricane Hugo came through and demolished the island and left us homeless for some months before we finally packed up and moved to the U.S. mainland. About a decade later, I met a guy named Janks Morton who put me in the studio for the first time. And we did this album called 1 Week's Emotions. And, after that, there was really no looking back for me.
You can see the spark in certain people, and he had it. No question, no doubt, but this is what made him unique. He was tenacious, he was focused, and he knew what he wanted. He's carved out this great musical life on his terms, for himself, and not chasing the fame or not chasing the dollars. From that first day, even through this day, he's doing fabulous things all around the world, and you still see it. That permeates the fabric of who Lee Anduze is.
I recognize this brother as a true talent from the Virgin Islands, and it's great to see how far he's gone. From day one, I was proud of his music. I remember that I was able to go to Orlando and write a story on him for the St. Croix Avis when I was a reporter there. And then I brought him back to perform alongside Neo at Kramer's Park, and that was incredible, and he was one of the most notable parts of the concert.
Every day he'd wake up, have a list of what he had to do, what we were supposed to accomplish that day. He was always pushing the envelope, always pushing more, wanting more, and never settling for no. We wanted to take that next step of performing live. So we went actually to a local venue. It was called AKA Lounge, and we asked them if we can just build a show. So we went out and got him a band, and he found 11 Red Apples, which was a great local kind of funk soul band. And we did mini shows with them, shows in hard rock and house of blues. We got a bigger productions. We had dance team, dancers. It was great. And slowly but surely, Orlando just got smaller for him. And that's when he decided it was time to move out to LA.
We cut that first record, Road to Traveler, in my apartment. All of it. It was just he and I in that room with an old MacBook computer trying to make it happen.
I went to see one of his shows and I instantly became a fan. And I was so inspired by the way he was creating all this music, putting on his own shows, creating this content, videos, and becoming really successful by doing it all himself.
I love his vision and his commitment to his sound from the time I saw him for the first time on that stage till where he is now. I always stand impressed.
Now I understand every word she said. I wonder if she can still picture my face, or am my memory stoned and erased? Will she remember the moments we shared? Will she care?
This album was born out of a heartbreak, hence the title's Closure. Anduze was going through a really tough time. He was very genuine and vulnerable in connecting the audience with his personal experience with the heartbreak. It helped him get over it, and he'd go in his pocket or whatever and pull out the infamous flask. And he would, take a drink and toast to the audience, you know what I mean? And I owe a lot to this guy. I mean, I wouldn't be the drummer that I am today if I had not been under his wing.
I've seen him write 10, 12, 15 songs, and they're all refreshing, and they're a different take. He really crosses over different borders, because that's what life is. We evolve, and as an artist, he has never put himself inside a box, and I think that's amazing.
You see the passion, you see the work that goes into it, and you see the level of musicianship. This guy always puts together the best musicians in town, and we bring the heat. I mean, and it's a lot of fun.
His music grooves, it's got soul, it'll make you dance, it'll even make you cry sometimes, and I just love every chance I get to play with him.
I think one of my fondest moments is we were on tour in St. Bart's, and there was this group of sailors, and these guys were crazy. I mean, one dude was hanging from a ceiling fan at one point, and during the last song, one guy bumps into another, and this dude spills a whole beer down the bell of my saxophone. And I remember looking at the band and at Anduze, and I'm like, dude, what in the world? And they're just laughing. And so I just dumped it out, and the show must go on.
I was the sole backup singer, and for a long time I was the only female in the group. And that was the case when we went to South by Southwest and to Dallas. We rented a motorhome and drove. We're trying to get to the gig, and we're trying to practice, and we've got guitars going and drumming on a dashboard, and I'm in the driver's seat, and there's still, I think, YouTube video of this while we're in traffic trying to get to this first gig. It was just a really special memory, I think, for me, for all of us.
I want success, no credit, but let's find my peace of mind. Sometimes I feel like I'm giving. There's another man in my skin. Ooh, yeah. He's living life like give me everything me, so I say, hey. Won't let you down. Won't let you down. I won't let you down. Ooh, won't let you down. I won't let you down. I won't let you down. Hey.
So you've got a song called Stone Cold Lover. Is you a Stone Cold Lover then? Well, I guess some might say that. I can be. Sometimes, yeah. For real, respect. Wicked. I was also stoned right now. I was mashed.
Anduze had an acting background, and he had a good friend who was a director, and they would make these videos to announce each show. He was very, very smart because he understood as an independent artist, you needed an all-encompassing strategy. I definitely remember there was a moment where all of a sudden LA found out about Anduze and things started to snowball. I'm talking clubs like 500 to 750 person capacity, and you could definitely tell that this was the hottest independent artist in Los Angeles.
Around 2010 is when I started to realize that maybe being a soul artist in Los Angeles, there was a ceiling for me. Despite what it looked like on the outside, I was flat broke and drinking every night of the week, just lost in the madness of it all. The few major labels who had shown interest ultimately passed on the project, and for the first time I seriously considered quitting music, which was a devastating thought to have. I just felt like I had nothing to show for it all. So I came to this epiphany to eliminate money from the equation. I started giving my music away for free, doing free shows. I had become so jaded that I needed to find that purity again. You know, I wanted to feel the way I did when I was 6, singing my first solo. In a lot of ways, I guess it was a rebirth. And with that mindset, less than a year later, that's when doors started to open for me. I was inspired to do a vocal remix for this great track called Kiss Kiss by Austrian artist Parav Stellar. And when I was finished, I sent it to any email I could find that might reach him.
I woke up in my tour bus, had a party the night before, and I got this mail from this guy from LA. A track by Parav Stellar made a few years ago, but he overdubbed it with his own vocals.
This girl, she won't follow me nowhere. She never answers the phone when I call her. She ain't like no one that I ever known in my whole life. Prisoners, she don't take no prisoners.
You know, there are so many good singers out there, but I'm always looking for people who have this special thing. I wrote to him, and that was the starting point of a wonderful friendship and also good partnership.
Our first few collaborations gave me the leverage I'd been waiting for to really hit the road. I started setting up my own tours in South America and Canada and multiple countries across Europe. And as I bounced around, there was this one city that kept bringing me back each year. And consequently, I fell in love with it. You know, the people, the culture, the music. And I returned again and again, and each time it felt more like home, until finally, on a whim, I left Los Angeles and I moved to Athens, Greece. During the years I'd been visiting included the period of time the economic crisis really took hold of the city. And I guess what was most interesting to me as an outsider was the reaction of the underground art and music scene. There was this profound rise in the appreciation of soul and funk music amongst the city's DJs and live bands. And I hadn't experienced anything like that in any other country I'd been to. So it really fascinated me.
I know it's been a long time, but the feeling stays the same. But if you don't believe me, darling, I got this for you.
We started as a 7-member band, mostly small gigs, and you couldn't get paid.
Ξεκίνησα το 2004 να παίζω μουσική στην Αθήνα.
I started working with live bands, singing rock and alternative music and Greek rock music.
Ξεκίνησα να ακούω σαν έφηβος hip hop μουσική. Από εκεί ανακάλυψα το soul, ψάχνοντας τα δείγματα που έχουν πάρει η παραγωγή, ο Ρίζα, ο Pete Rock, και έτσι ξεκίνησα να ακούω, να μαθαίνω το Marvin Gaye και να μαθαίνω όλους αυτούς.
I couldn't go anywhere to listen to soul funk music here in Athens. So I just said one day, I want a band, I want to listen to a band that plays this kind of music that I love.
Και κάποια μαγαζιά ήθελαν παραπάνω soul και εγώ μου άρεσε να παίζω, άρα έγινα από κοινό και από τις δύο πλευρές δηλαδή.
So when I firstly heard Joss Stone and Jamiroquai, I was like, wow. Those were the first artists that made me love the soul and funk scene.
Soul music is very, it has to do with emotions and it's very passionate and it's really close to the Greek mentality.
Verve Music Cafe is a place I always enjoyed and one of the longest running soul-themed bars in Athens.
Soul music is about joy and rhythm. So when I started playing music as a DJ, it was the only music I could easily communicate with people. Because of the crisis and the problems we are facing now and which are extremely unpleasant, it suits perfectly in a way. The lyrics, the groove, the feeling mostly, like we need soul in a way.
With the soul sound trending heavily, it gave me an avenue I didn't really have in LA, and within 6 months I had a couple of songs in heavy rotation on the city's biggest radio stations.
Σάκης της Οικομενίας στον Ελληνικό Show, 7 μέχρι τις 8 θα είμαστε παρέα όπως κάθε μέρα από Δευτέρα μέχρι Παρασκευή. Και συνεχίζουμε. Soulful, ταιριάζει στην ημέρα, ταιριάζει στην εποχή και ταιριάζει ακόμα περισσότερο μια και έχουμε τον τραγουδιστή εδώ στο στούντιο αυτή τη στιγμή, μας κάνει παρέα, ο Anduze. Everything, ένα από τα αγαπημένα μας τραγούδια του μήνα που ξεκίνησε. Καλησπέρα σε όλους.
I think that I was always hooked on soul music, but I started playing soul music from the beginning of my radio career. At the same time, some young producers in Greece started doing their own remixes, covers of soul music, and they started writing their own original stuff.
Σε δύσκολους καιρούς συνήθως ο κόσμος στρέφεται σε πιο εναλλακτικά είδη μουσικής. Έτσι, σε αυτά τα πλαίσια, νομίζω σίγουρα και το blues και το soul είναι μέσα σε αυτό. Ειδικά αν προσέχουν και το στίχο, ο οποίος αρκετές φορές είναι και πολιτικοποιημένος. Και σίγουρα σε όλο τον κόσμο του αρέσει να γλεντάει τον πόνο του.
Of course, in times of crisis like the one we're going through now, the last 5 years in Greece, you need something else. You need something more to make you feel good, feel better, and forget about the everyday problems. And music, especially soul music, can do that.
I think Greek radios are actually much more free than other countries to show people different styles of music. There's always some radio producers who would love it and just give us a taste. And then, you know, as people who love music, we dig and find more of it. Greeks love soul music because, as I said before, it's about truth and honesty. And coming from a country right now which is filled with politicians and lies, I think we really need some truth and honesty in our lives. So yeah, that's what I think about soul music in Greece.
Can't get nothing done.
Just after I released Fire Juliet, it started getting played at Pepper Radio by DJ Snatch, who had his own influence in the soul scene.
Σαν ακροατής είχα μαζέψει πάρα πολλές ωραίες μουσικές, αλλά είχα ένα παράπονο ότι δεν τις άκουγα έξω στα μπάρς και στα κλαμπς. Οπότε είπα να δοκιμάσω κι εγώ και αυτό προτάθηκα σε ένα μπαρ, μ' αφήσαν, έπαιξα, τα πήγα πολύ καλά και έτσι ξεκίνησα το DJing. Η soul μουσική δεν ήταν πάντα στη σκηνή της Αθήνας. Νομίζω ότι πήρε πιο ολοκληρωμένη μορφή εκεί στα τέλη της δεκαετίας του 90, όταν άρχισαν να δημιουργούνται μαγαζιά με σπουδαίους DJs όπως το Νηπιαγωγείο, το Θηρίο, τα οποία παίζαν αποκλειστικά μαύρες μουσικές.
with all of the new platforms that were available to me, I was able to try different things. So I started doing DJ sets, incorporating live soul vocals over electronic music.
You hit me good now, baby, just like a drug. You take me in so deep now, I can't get enough.
Η ηλεκτρονική μουσική και η soul είναι ένα πάντρεμα που, αν μπορούμε να το πούμε έτσι, που παίζεται πάρα πολύ τα τελευταία χρόνια στη νυχτερινή ζωή της Αθήνας, γιατί τα φωνητικά και τα στοιχεία της soul μουσικής μπορούν να προσεγγίσουν πιο πολύ ένα κοινό πιο μεγάλης ηλικίας. Παράλληλα όμως το ηλεκτρονικό στοιχείο είναι αυτό που δίνει ένα πιο φρέσκο ήχο στο κομμάτι και το κάνει αρεστό και στο κοινό πιο νεαρής ηλικίας.
I found a peace and a sanity in this city, and I even found love again here. And you know, you chase these things for so long in life, but then you realize that it's really just how far you're willing to go to get them.
Baby, I needed you like water. We were in love deep like the sea, but we couldn't hold our breath no longer. So now we lie here on the beach.
dama toog bu dikki joon tëdd nelaw jeex xel mi dem ci laxiraate moo woo.
As instrumental as Athens had become in my career and personal life, it was interesting to find out that other musicians had similar experiences. The Soul Jazz Orchestra is based out of Ottawa, Canada, and they too had built a following and found success here through steady radio support. So I came here in like 2009, me and my best friend, and we were at this bar called Tapas Bar. All they played was like soul and funk, right? So we're sitting there and talking to some Greek ladies. I was single back in those days, and People comes on, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so, you know, the horn intro and then the bass line drops, and I'm talking to these Greek goddesses, and I'm like, whoa, hold up. Give me a second. I went to the DJ, I'm like, yo, what is it? What is this? So, went back to LA, loving this song, and I'm like, I gotta cover this song. So I ended up covering People with my band and for like a year and a half. Thank you for that tune. And so at what point in the journey did you guys figure out that Greece had a love affair with you guys, with your music?
Well, it came naturally because Greek radio picked us up.
Right.
So they started playing our music like crazy.
Yeah.
And we were like, wow.
So how many more times do you want to come back to Athens?
Oh, every time, forever.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, we love it here.
In my formative years, I moved to Ottawa and I played with a Malagasy group from Madagascar.
Wow.
And then I played with a Nigerian pop group, and I played with Latin ensembles and jazz big bands and all that. So all that kind of formed, you know, who I am as a composer, you know, so that all came in together.
I spent some time in Mexico. I was working with another group down there for a bit. I spent some time in Cuba studying Cuban percussion.
Amazing.
And I did my degree in Spanish in university and did an exchange program while I was down there. So naturally, that's always been a huge influence just in my life.
I mean, for me, it's my dad every Saturday when he was cleaning was playing vinyl for 10 hours a day.
Awesome.
And what he played was like salsa, calypso,
soca, high life.
Yeah, I totally get the calypso
Yeah.
vibe with you guys as well. I'm a big
Thanks.
fan. I really appreciate y'all getting on camera with me and doing this.
Thank you.
Growing up, what was your access to soul like?
Coming from Slovenia, we were exposed to MTV and
Yeah.
all the American stuff that was happening. It was very present in the culture in Central Europe in general, So I was exposed to everything, from our personal like home folk music to like James Brown and Curtis Mayfield and Marvin Gaye and all that stuff.
That's awesome. When you first got on,
Yeah.
we were talking earlier, and you said that Athens was one of the first spots to really put you on, huh?
The first people who booked me, the first country to book me was Greece. It was in
Amazing.
Athens, for first show. So basically in the Balkans were the first ones that picked up, and I think mainly because I had 2 or 3 songs at a time out that sampled like Balkan brass, the drink is called Rakia and Balkan Express.
Dope.
And it obviously speaks to everybody in the Balkans as soon as they hear the gypsy brass.
Hell yeah, speaking their language.
Yeah, exactly.
You've always kind of been changing your style here and there, blending different genres.
Experimenter.
Yeah. So, and right now you're doing that. Do you expect to use some soul elements going in this direction as well?
I never abandoned it really. Like in the beginning, I was making mainly like hip hop flavored beats because that was the only thing I knew how to do well. So as I started to learn how to use synths and plugins and stuff like that, I was like, okay, I have some knowledge and some skills that I can actually take this to the next level. So my original intention was always to try to mix the best of electronic music world with the best of the funk and soul and hip hop,
Thank you so much, dude.
You're the man.
People say New York is the city that never sleeps, or LA, but I would say Athens is the city that really never sleeps. Greece was one of the very first countries who booked Stellar. Was my first international booking there, and there's so many memories. There's a deep connection to this country, and it's always a pleasure to come back.
The Lone Wolf Odyssey was my 3rd mixtape release, and I stripped a vocal from it and sent it to Marcus, which led to our most successful collaboration so far, a song called When I Find My Love.
See, all my life I've been told, stay away from trouble, it's a lonely road. So went my way across the sea, but it seemed like trouble kept finding me. Oh, when I find my love. When I find my love, when I find my love, oh, I can't wait. When I find my love, when I find my love, oh, I can't wait. I can't wait. I cannot wait till I meet the one I want. I'm tired of running around, done it long enough. The kind of woman that makes me wanna trust. When I find my love, I can't wait. I cannot wait till I meet the one I want.
that Anduze was going to be an R&B soul superstar. So salute, Anduze. Big respect, VI to the wall. I had a whole lot of fun, but I got to run. Rash on the rhythm, vivid streaming. Catch me next week, same time, same place, doing the same thing for the same set of folks. Plus a couple if I'm lucky, because I do believe you're going to spread the word. If you like what you heard, don't just hear the vision, share the vision. Peace.
When you're ready, come to me.
Who's your favorite soul artist?
Michael Jackson.
Ο Curtis Mayfield.
Ray Charles.
Ο Bill Withers.
Every time you hear Whitney Houston, I think it's like the epitome of soul.
Marvin Gaye.
Let's get it on.
Marvin Gaye's Sexual Healing.
James Brown, of course.
Amy Winehouse definitely is in my list.
I know exactly what you're going through. I've been there too, so I'll wait for you. But don't take too long, leave me singing this song, saying, baby, come home. You are your everything I ever wanted. When it's early in the morning and you open your eyes, lying here by my side, I know you are everything. When I got to California, I was just a troubled man. From the moment that I saw her, I knew I had to take a chance. I told her I would never let her go, but I guess it wasn't my decision. Now she's gone and I'm here on my own, in California missing. I never wanna let you know till I let you walk away, my lover. I never wanna let you go, but I didn't know that there was no other. I never wanna let you know till I let you walk away, my lover. I never wanna let you go, but I didn't know, didn't know. I was just a troubled man.